from what we are seeing and what we are reading about, the impacts have been minimal on the ground, and that appears to indicate that Israel's tiered missile defense system has worked. It's the most sophisticated in the world. It's designed to intercept ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, any other type of missile, and drones as well. And that's what it appears to have done. Iran is likely to have fired several hundred ballistic missiles and cruise missiles and killer drones all together. They have, does Israel, a system called the Arrow, which is a ballistic missile defense system that actually makes these intercepts out several hundred kilometers away in the atmosphere. Those missiles, which actually make it through that, are then intercepted by a system called the David Sling. That engages targets out to, let's say, 300 odd kilometers.
Okay.
Those weapons, which actually come further in, are intercepted by the Patriot missile system. That's been something that we've seen in use in Iran even back in 1991 when Saddam Hussein's Iraq had attacked Israel. Further down, tier 4, there is a system called the Iron Dome. What you're actually seeing, Kitty, on your screen now are likely interceptions made by the Iron Dome system, which we've also seen in recent times, which have been fired by Israel to defend against attacks from Hamas. So it's quite possible that these are Iron Dome interceptions taking place. And finally, there is an underdevelopment system called the Iron Beam, which is a high-energy laser system. I don't believe that's been deployed, but that's part of the 5-tier system that Israel is actually operating.
Also, Vishnu, can you tell us what we're learning at the moment is that, Benjamin Netanyahu has said that his country has been fully prepared and there will be an action, of course. Is an Israeli counterattack expected?
Well, Kitty, this is the big worry, that if there is an Israeli an Israeli reaction, an offensive by Israel, and they're fully prepared to do this, this entire scenario would have been gamed quite clearly. Then it needs to be remembered that Iran does not have the tiered missile systems which Israel has. In other words, if there is a counterattack using Israeli aircraft, Israeli missiles, and Israeli drones, then there is a very likely possibility of substantial damage on Iranian soil. And therefore, the entire situation in West Asia flares up incredibly. When Israel chooses to counter, whether it chooses to actually do that, would it take into account that some information seems to suggest that Tel Aviv itself was not the focal area of the Iranian strikes? Is that something which might result in a more calibrated response from Israel? We'll have to wait and see.